Welcome back, future billionaires. Now we're going to be delving into our own little war room so that we can map out a strategy that'll be your beacon in the ever-turbulent world of cryptocurrency. Are you ready to upgrade from mere foot soldier to strategic general? Well, now's the time to do it. Let's get into it. First of all, let's clear the air. Spreadsheets might sound boring, like something your uncle in accounting would be excited about. But let's make one thing absolutely clear. Spreadsheets are for the elites only. This is where multi-million dollar strategies are born. Hedge funds, spreadsheets. Entrepreneurs, spreadsheets. Real estate developers, spreadsheets. Sports team owners, art collectors, venture capitalists, spreadsheets, spreadsheets, spreadsheets. Every elite, ultra-wealthy person on this planet uses spreadsheets to track their financial decisions. So unless you're happy being broke forever, we're going to have to dive into it and learn it for ourselves. There's this misconception out there that everybody thinks that you can imagine some form of reality into existence and you can just interpretively analyze everything and you don't need anything to track your decisions. Those people are broke, those people are poor, and they are going to stay that way. So we need to forge ahead and go onto our map of the battlefield in our war room and design our strategies like a pro. Imagine a vast war room table where great leaders have decided the course of history. This is your spreadsheet. This is where you're going to map out your strategy, track your soldiers, and decide your next moves. But thanks to modern technology, you don't need an enormous room, you just need Google Sheets. That's right, Google Sheets. Why? It's free and easy to use. So let's get into it. Step 1, access Google Sheets. Everybody pretty much has a Google account, so you should just need to go into Google, type in Google Sheets, and click the first link. Once you've all logged in, you need to go into Google Sheets and open up a brand new spreadsheet. Once you've done that, come back to this video. Got your spreadsheet open, ready to go? Let's get into it. What you'll be faced with is a screen that looks like this. It will have untitled spreadsheet, and I want you to type in here, my strategy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to list our soldiers in these columns here. Now remember, they each deserve their own little space. Give them the respect they deserve. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in indicator. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the indicator list and put them down in each cell. So we'll start off with Arun, directional movement index, so on and so forth. And I want you to type those into the cells. Do that right now, and we'll come back to the video. Okay, so now I have filled these up with all of the indicator names. As you can see, some of them are shortened for their acronyms. And then I'm just going to put in super trend here in the bottom. Okay, now what I might do to make this a little bit easier to see is I'll just put a border underneath it. That is completely optional. You don't need to do that. However, I think it will make it a lot easier to read. And in this column here, I'm going to write score. Now, score is where things get interesting. If you remember, back to these charts here, if we had something like a moving average, convergence divergence, or a MACD indicator, what we would be looking at is over here at the current price and what it looks like. Now, remember what I told you, if it was the blue line above the orange line, then it would be bullish. If the orange line was above the blue line going downwards, then it's bearish. So bullish, bearish, up or down, what we see here is that the blue line is above the orange line. So currently, this one is bullish. And how are we going to score that in our strategy spreadsheet? Well, we're going to go here, click on this cell, and give it a +1. +1 means it's on its way up. -1 means it's on its way down. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of these indicators and score them appropriately. Here we have the Arun. Now, as you remember, the orange line above the blue line means that it's bullish. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that in here as a +1 as well. And we're going to move to the next ones. So we'll move through these quickly now. We'll go to the DMI, Directional Movement Index, and we can remove the ADX because that's not really necessary. So what do we have here? Blue above orange means bullish. So we are going to score that +1 as well. We already did MACD, and let's look at the parabolic SAR. So, as you may have remembered, what we did in one of the previous videos was actually change the length of this to 0, 1. Now, that is a nice length, in my opinion, at least for the purposes of this video. Yours might be slightly different depending on where you have your desired turning points. So as you can see, the dots are below the current price, which means that it is in a bullish trend. So that one, parabolic SAR, is a +1 as well. Let's have a look at the RSI. We'll remove that one. And the relative strength index. Now remember, as I said previously, you can either remove the RSI base moving average or keep it on the screen depending on how sophisticated or fancy you want to get. We can see here that the RSI line is above the 50 mark, which in my opinion means that it is bullish. So that is going to be a +1. The SMEI, we have that one here as well. You can pull that up on your screen like so. Now, this is going to be a common problem that some of you might find if you accidentally try to add too many indicators onto the one chart, especially if you haven't paid for your TradingView subscription yet. Watch what happens when I try to add 3 indicators to the chart. I get a pop-up that asks me to upgrade my TradingView subscription. Now remember, you don't need to do this. It's only asking you to do this because you tried to put more than 2 indicators on your chart at the same time. So just close that, and if you need to add extra indicators onto your chart, close it like so, and add them back like so. Make sure you keep track of them or else that might freak you out. Now we're not looking at super trend right now, so I'm going to hide that, and we're looking at the SMI. Now, as I said previously, blue over orange means bullish. So what we're going to do is place that in here as a +1, and let's hide that for the moment and have a look at super trend. And as you can see, super trend is currently green, meaning that it's going up as well. So we have a straight flush. Everything is scored 1 on the spreadsheet. Fantastic. Now, under some circumstances, you might actually find that these are saying -1 for bearish, or a couple of them are like this. So you might be asking yourself, well, what's the consensus, or what is the strength of this type of signal here? Now, this is where things get interesting. What you need to do is you need to click on this cell down here. I'll add a little bit of a border to the top of it just to make sure that it's separated nicely. Now we're going to type in equals. This is where we use formulas, and the word average followed by a bracket. And you can see here it's automatically suggesting that we do B2 to B8. Not a problem. You can either press enter, click there, or simply click and drag the cells that you want to include, then press enter. And as you can see, the current number, I'm going to reduce some of these decimal places here, is 0.43. This is positive. This is a positive number, which means there's more positive numbers than negative numbers. That means the consensus of your super soldier team is bullish. That means, on average, they believe the price is going to continue going up. Now, I'll describe this again in a slightly different way because the concept is so important, so we'll cover it a second time. Now, imagine you're on the battlefield and you have all of your super soldiers, and more of them are advancing than the guys are retreating. This means, on average, your team has a more aggressive, bullish stance to their bias. Conversely, if more of your soldiers are retreating than actually going forwards, this means that they've sensed danger, which means they have more of a bearish stance, which believes the market is going to pull back. So if your average score is above 0, that means on average they're bullish, which means it's time to push forwards, guns blazing. However, if the score is below 0, if the average score is below 0, that means they're bearish, which means it's time for a tactical retreat to regroup, get prepared for the next big push. I know this might seem overwhelming, but you're learning the methods of elite strategists. So trust the process. With every battle, with every maneuver on your spreadsheet, you're inching closer to that multi-millionaire dream. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in our case, a single cell in a spreadsheet. So gear up, get your war plans ready, and let's march on to the next lessons.